Destiny 2 was one of the most anticipated games in 2017, with Destiny 1 making over $500 million in sales in its first few days. Is Destiny 2 able to live up to the expectations that the first one set, or are there going to be a lot of slumps going forward with Destiny 2 going forward, or is there more to this story? What up everybody, it's your boy Gaming Forte, back at it with another video. Make sure you hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. It definitely helps out the channel a lot. If you want to go the extra mile, make sure you share this on all your social media platforms because it gives this video more visibility and it would definitely help me out greatly. So the article we're going to talk about is Destiny 2 US sales down by 50% over the original. Now we heard reports earlier in the year, probably a couple weeks after the launch of Destiny 1, talking about in its first week over in the UK, its year-over-year sales were down 58% compared to Destiny 1. Now a lot of people were just putting this off to the fact that some people might be waiting for the PC version of the game to come out because this is the first time that a Bungie game when it comes to shooters will actually be available on that platform. But we never heard anything about the US sales until now. So 50% down from the original. Is this actually something that should be worrying? Well, I will give you both reasons of yes and no. So let's start with the reason people probably put this game down. Destiny 2 is one of the games that if you didn't like the first one, you probably won't like the second one. Even with all of the quality of life changes, most people look at this game and they don't really see a new version of the game. A lot of people talk about reskins and nothing really actually changing in the game. It looks like the same Destiny with just another coat of paint on it. And yes, they did fix the story. A lot of the things that got fixed in Destiny 2 are some things that the community definitely wanted. I also think that Destiny 2 doesn't get a second chance to make a first impression. I believe that Destiny 1 sold primarily just on the back of it being a great shooter, Bungie being the developer behind it, so a lot of people were expecting great story aspects, and also just gameplay with loot being one of the driving forces of the game. Now the game had the loot part in spades. It also was a very grindy game, but the one thing that the game really didn't have was the story. It was very convoluted, it was all over the place. There were still things in Destiny 1 that we don't know about in Destiny 2, or even not even being referenced in Destiny 2. Like whole parts of the game have been taken out that a lot of people really wanted to know answers to. So that is one reason why I think Destiny isn't going to be as popular as it was before. Other reasons being people just do not like the new format that Destiny went with some of the Crucible changes. 4v4 gameplays means you can't play with as many people, and the reason Destiny is so appealing to people is the fact that it's a casual shooter that you can play with other people. Look at games like Overwatch. The fact that you can get into an Overwatch game and actually try hard or just play casually with your friends is one of the most appealing versions of that game, and that's why that game still has staying power a whole year after launch. Now Destiny 2 stuck around for 3 full years. It was very relevant on Twitch. It was just a very watchable game, and that is something that a lot of people enjoyed about Destiny 1. But did Destiny 1 really have the high player count that it has in Destiny 2 right now? I believe besides the fact that the game sold extremely well in the very beginning, which had its highest player count ever, it fell off drastically after the first 2, 3, even a month after that game hit the market. And if you want to just know exactly how far it dropped off, hey, I'm gonna pull some achievements up for you so you can actually see just on the Xbox side of the community, which isn't the biggest side, but I do believe that these are gonna still be the same across both platforms with small deviations and variations from here to there. So we're logged into my achievements right now. We're gonna take a look at Destiny 1 and look at the achievement list. So Rising Vanguard, complete a strike. Now strikes was the only way to level up your character after you hit level 20. And then you basically had to do the raid and Nightfall, which was in-game activities, to actually get higher light levels from there. So the whole Forever 29 thing was one of the most prominent things in Destiny 1, just because you really couldn't get to level 30 unless you got real lucky in a raid. But only 47% of the player base actually did and completed a strike, which is half of it. Now this is a real one. This decrypt 25 engrams. 40% of the player base did this. Now the loot cave, if anybody remembers in Destiny 1, was one of the most used and abused things that was in Destiny 1. People used this to literally get a bunch of engrams. I mean, you could get 25 engrams literally by just sitting there shooting to a cave, and only 39% of the player base did that. All right, Vanguard. Earn rank 1 Vanguard. 30% of the player base. Do you know how easy it is to just get rank 1? I think you only had to turn one package in to get it. One package or just do 1 or 2 strikes got you to rank 1. It was super easy. Doing public events could get you to rank 1. Only 30% of the player base did that. Oh my god. Have an armor slot equipped with legendaries or exotic gear. Only 20% of the player base did that. You really didn't get to this until you got to over 20, but the fact that only 22% of the player base did it should let you know one thing. Now, attain 1 exotic piece, 30%. Everybody got exotics. Exotics were super easy to get. All you had to do was go to Xur and get 1 exotic piece gear, and only 30% of the player base did that. So what does this tell you? A lot of people probably dropped off in the first week to 2 weeks because Xur did come the first week and he did sell exotic gear. And the fact that only 30% of the player base did this is kind of alarming. If we go over to Destiny 2, which is above it, the long winding road reached level 20, 64%. So in order to get certain things in Destiny 1, you had to hit level 20. The fact that 64% of the player base already did this is pretty noticeable compared to Destiny 1, because in order to like equip all legendaries and all the exotics on your character to have like at least all legendaries and exotics, you had to be level 20 in Destiny 1, I believe. And that was like only like 30% of the player base compared to this 64% already. Shax's Call to Arms, 49%. So 49% of the player base has played Crucible, at least played Crucible. If you look at those stats for Destiny 1, people didn't even hit rank 1. It was like people didn't even hit rank 1. The fact that people completed the Call of Arms playlist lets you know that there is more people playing Crucible for longest amount of time than ever in Destiny 1 at the beginning, which is pretty crazy. And then complete a Nightfall Strike. 42% of the people. That's an in-game activity. People are actually playing that right there. Complete 30 challenges. 46% of the player base actually completed 30 or more challenges. 15 exotic weapons and armor collected. 43%. We had less than 20% of people that even put on an exotic piece on their character. What does that tell you? And look at that. 14.26% of the player base have completed the raid, compared to the original one where only 5% did it. So that speaks volumes for itself. So we have a very big contrast in what's actually going on in Destiny 1 compared to Destiny 2. And I believe there's more people actively playing Destiny 1 still right now than later on in Destiny 1 was when it first launched. I think a lot of people just fell off the wagon and didn't want to play it anymore. Now let's talk about some of the reasons Destiny 2 actually may be doing pretty well with its sales overall. We have to remember that Destiny 1 released on multiple platforms. It released on Xbox 360 and PS3. There was no PC launch, but the 360 and the PS3 had over 160 million people that had that system. It was going to do well regardless, just because they had that player base to tap into. They don't have that with Destiny 2. Destiny 2 doesn't have that player base to count on for sales anymore. They are relegated to either upgrading to Xbox Ones or PS4 or buying it on PC. And then on top of that, this game has not launched for PC yet. I believe it's going to get a big boom from PC. It really just depends on all the negativity that's been going on with Destiny 1 right now, if people are still going to buy into it. But I do believe that Destiny 1, because a lot of people want to see what a Bungie game looks and feels like on a PC, and I think it's going to do very well over there. Also, on top of that, Destiny is one of those games that people want to take a wait and see approach. Like I said earlier, people didn't like what was going on in Destiny 1. They want to make sure the story's all there. They want to make sure that all the things are in the game that should have been there at launch, and they don't want to put the money down up front to basically front something that may not be there in the future. So I can definitely understand why the sales may be down, and I also understand why people may be waiting to pick up the game. But I do believe there is a lot of things going on for Destiny right now. I think the game is great overall. I think there's a lot of things that need to be changed. I feel like the end game is in a big mess, honestly, right now. And that might be another reason why people didn't buy into the game, because like I said earlier, Destiny is one of those games that you play with your friends to enjoy, and you want them to actually play the game with you. And right now, it looks like a lot of people's friends that enjoyed Destiny 1 aren't enjoying Destiny 2 as much. And honestly, Destiny 1 came out during a drought. There was really no other games coming coming out, and Destiny 2 is literally coming out in the middle of a bunch of games that's coming out. Evil Within just launched today. We got South Park next week. We got WWE that came out today. We had Shadow of War earlier this week. There is a slew of games that are releasing this year, or that have released this year, that have a lot of other gamers' attention. Cuphead is another one on the Xbox platform. Congratulations to them selling 1 million copies of their game. And that is something that is definitely going against Destiny right now, but only time's going to tell. As DLC comes out for it, we'll see if the game gets a lot better in the in-game aspect of it. But until we see some significant changes with this game going forward, I don't know where it's going to finish in sales. Being down 50% could just be the beginning. It could like raise up like the phoenix of the ashes, or it can plummet even further. Only time will tell. Oh, and also before I forget, I believe digital content sales for this game are much more higher than they were for the first Destiny. We don't know how much this game sold digitally, so that is a mystery to us, and until we actually get some concrete numbers on how this did across the Xbox platforms, PlayStation platforms overall, we won't know exactly how well this game did do. I believe the digital downloads could equate for anywhere probably for an extra 10 to probably 15-20%, but even with that, it still means that Destiny 2 hasn't done as well as Destiny 1 in sales, and only time will tell if that actually changes. So guys, what do you think? Do you think Destiny's heading in the right direction, or you think they need to make some major overhauls to the change of the game to actually get more people involved? Let's talk about that in the comment section. Thanks for watching this video. Sub to the channel if you haven't. Like this video if you like the content. It definitely helps out the channel a lot. Turn on those notifications. It's gonna let you know the next time this video goes live. It's your boy Gaming Forte. You guys have a great week, and I'll talk to you in the next video. Peace.